name's Stephen Smith. I'm the watch manager for our on-call support team in Nottinghamshire Fire and Rescue Service. So it's my job to basically help support our current on-call firefighters as well as try and recruit new on-call firefighters. So if you do put an application in to be an on-call firefighter and you're successful through the SIFT, then you'll get to see a lot more of me, unfortunately, for you guys. So I've never been on call myself. My career, I've always been whole time. So I have my colleague Wendy with me today, who is an on-call firefighter. So I'll let Wendy introduce herself. And
My
then
name's Wendy. I'm an on-call firefighter, but I've only been an on-call firefighter since April last year. So I'm just finishing up what you are about to start if you go through with it.
Thank you, Wendy. So also we've got Ellie hiding away in the background there from our communications team. So Ellie's going to be monitoring the chat. So if you do have any questions, if you can pop them in the chat, please, and then we're going to stop at varying points through the presentation to pick up any questions you guys got. So if I can just ask everyone to put themselves on mute as well, please, if you can do. So the purpose of today then is really just to explain the role of an on-call firefighter and what it entails, and then we'll go through the recruitment process as well. So what's going to be required of you to get through the process and onto a training course. And then at the end, we'll just quickly go through the website so I can show you around that and the various information on there. So I'll just start sharing my screen now. So what's going to happen is I'll go through the presentations and then I'll bring Wendy in and she can give you a true reflection of what it is to be an on-call firefighter. So welcome to tonight. Hopefully presentation is not too boring and I don't put you off and you'll want to join and be an on-call firefighter. So it's now not showing. So can everybody see that now?
Yeah.
Cool. So like I say, if you've got any questions, please drop them in the chat and Ellie will pick them up. If not, if you can email the email address on the screen there and either myself or one of the team will pick up any questions you've got and get back to you as well. So firstly then, we've got a little bit about Nottinghamshire Fire and Rescue Service and the on-call. So we've got 12 standalone on-call stations, which are the ones in orange. So in the north, we've got Harworth, Misterton, Tuxford and Worksop. Down the east side, we've got Collingham, Southwell and Bing. And then more southerly, you've got Eastleigh, Stapleford and Eastwood. And then moving central to west, you've got Hucknall, Blytheth and Warsop. We've then got 2 on-call and whole-time stations. So the difference between the 2, on-call is a part-time role, if you like, where you respond on a pager where the whole time there's somebody on station 24/7, 365 days a year. So we've got Retford and Worksop and Newark are our 2 whole-time on-call stations, and then we've got 2 day crewed stations, which is Ashfield and Retford, and Wendy is based at Ashfield. We've got 16 appliances in the day that's on call and 18 appliances at night that's on call. So at night time, Ashfield and Retford have 2 on-call appliances. There's 30 appliances in total in Notts. So as you can work out from that, just over 50% of our fire engines are crewed by on-call personnel. And we've got roughly 250, 260 on-call firefighters across the service. Just missing off the map, just around here, we've got a joint headquarters, which we share with the police, which is at Sherwood Lodge. And then we've got 8 standalone whole-time stations as well. So Edmonstow's the most northerly, the rest are in and around the city. So you've got Arnold, Stockhill, Carlton, Highfields, Bridgeford and London Road. So they're our whole-time stations. So benefits of being an on-call firefighter then. So sense of community and being able to give back to your local area, rewarding both financially and personal fulfillment, development of personal skills, and you're trained to the same standard as a whole-time firefighter. So everything you do as an on-call firefighter, you'll do as a whole-time firefighter as well. Transferable skills and qualifications, access to reward schemes and health and wellbeing benefits, and becoming part of the Notts Fire and Rescue Service family. So I'll just pass you on to Wendy now, and she can explain a little bit of why she wanted to be an on-call firefighter and the benefits she's found so far.
The sense of community is a definite, yeah. I mean, once it kind of gets round that you're a firefighter, it's just different. You get to know people more. You people on the street will go, oh, you were at that fire the other day, weren't you? And you have no idea who they are, but they just say, oh, thanks very much. You know, it was my auntie or it was my mum. So you will get known in the community. So and it's really nice. From a financial point of view, if it was just your only job, I don't think you wouldn't make a living off it. From another job, I mean, it's great. I didn't realise, to be fair, when I applied, that you got paid for everything you do, which is brilliant. I just thought you just got a retaining fee every year, and that was it. So you really will feel the benefit, especially obviously nowadays. The training's hard, but it's so worth it. Really, really, really worth it. The skills that you learn when you're developing are, well, they certainly are transferable. You can transfer them to wherever you're working. I'm an office worker, I'm an accountant, and I still feel that I've learned so much that I can give back to my colleagues and my work. So it definitely helps with that. The first aid, they call it first aid. It's casualty first responder. It's way more than first aid. Way more. I've done first aid courses in the past, and it's just a bit of this and a bit of that. It's the first aid part of it, I think, is a massive, massive benefit. You really do feel like you can help anybody. You'll be able to help your grandma, you know, you really will you'll make a difference to anybody with the first responder training that you get. You get your booper. You can upgrade it if you want. You can add your family members, you know, somebody else in your family, if they want to be added to it, you just pay the extra. So again, if you've ever thought of private health, you do get a basic private health, which you can upgrade if you want to. So it's a win-win.
Cool, thank you, Wendy. And again, I'm sure Wendy can say this better than me. The other big difference between on-call and whole time is I've been stationed all over the county, whereas in an on-call station, you are where you live. The people that are serving, the people you're helping, they're your friends, they're your family, your neighbours. There really is that close-knit belonging, which sets it apart from the whole time. It really is a personal experience for you. And again, like with Wendy's touched on the booper and bits, we've got Firefighters charity, we've got loads of wellbeing stuff. We're hot on mental health and everything else, so things have improved massively over the years, and it is one thing we're very good at, looking after our staff in terms of their mental and physical health.
Have to be, sorry Steve, it doesn't even have to be anything about being an on-call firefighter. If you've got an issue with something personal, a mental health issue, anything like that, if you want anybody to talk to, there's so many people that you can talk to that will help you. It doesn't have to be about being an on-call firefighter.
Cool. And then, like I say, becoming part of the family, really, the training, you'll mix with different people, you'll meet different people at jobs, you'll get to know different people, make new friendships and get new colleagues. So it is a very rewarding job, and it does take a special person to do it because there's a lot of commitment involved. So what is an on-call firefighter then? So they work what we call a retained duty system. So it's not a part-time job as such. It's not full-time, and we don't recommend it as a primary employment. Like Wendy's already said, you're not going to get rich doing this. So I'll be honest with you there. If you're doing it for the money, I'm not sure it's for you. Don't get me wrong, you do get paid and you can earn some decent money at it, but you'd have to do a lot of the extra bits. We say live or work within 5 minutes of a station. That's the ideal. If it's 6, 7, 8 minutes, I'd rather have somebody who can turn out in 8 minutes than that fire engine not be able to turn out at all. So don't let the 5 minutes put you off. Still apply, and then it'll be down to that watch manager to see if they think that's worth it. But like say, don't put off for 5 minutes. We want a fire engine to turn out the door, and if we've got to wait that little bit longer, then it's definitely worth it. And like Wendy's already alluded to, Wendy turns out from work as well as from home. So you respond to a pager. So this little blue thing here is the pager. That will become your best mate. It will be attached to
your worst enemy.
Yeah, everywhere you go. You commit to an agreed number of hours of availability a week. We say 84 hours a week, but if you can give us some good availability and hours are the hours we really need people, then again we can negotiate on that as well. So at the end of the day, we want the appliance available as much as we can do. So we can definitely discuss that as well. You update your availability on a weekly basis. We uphold the service values. We're very keen on the values, the culture. You've probably seen the unfortunate news that's been going in the press lately. We're very big on treating everyone with respect, and we push the values massively, and we've got behavioural frameworks and everything to make sure everyone stays to the standards we expect. And again, committed to serving their community. So the other thing here, this bit with all the colours on, is that's the availability for that section. So the green is people who are available, and the red is when you're not available. So when you're at work or you're on a course or you've got hobbies that you're doing or whatever. So again, I'll just pass on to Wendy to go through a bit of how she finds being an on-call firefighter.
You apply for it, you do your application, you do all that. It's very exciting. You do have a go days, they're brilliant. You bleep test, you get through all that, and then you get to this point here with this little box that sits on your hip or in your bag or in your pocket. And as for the 84 hours that they said, I think Steve just alluded to it a little bit then. It really is up to your station on what you can give. Like I can give, because I can be called away from work. I'm lucky that I work for myself. I've got our own business, so I can do that at any time. The daytime obviously is a big thing because most people have another job. This is a secondary job. So if you can work from in the daytime for our station, Ashfield, it was a big thing to be able to have somebody on daytime that could be on call. Doesn't mean that's all I do. I do nighttime, I do weekends if I need to, etc., etc. So I have got a bit more flexibility. But is what they also said when I very first went was, if you can't do 84 because you can do the daytime cover, then we can work around it. I mean, to be fair, I think I do about 80. I think anything between 80 and 84, I think I do a week. But I'm just lucky, I suppose, because I can do in the day. The pager, yeah, when that goes off, believe me, you get a shock, especially at 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is. It's a bit of a shock, and when you've got a dog sleeping in the bedroom with you, she goes a bit mad when it goes off. So my poor husband gets woken up as well. But yeah, your pager goes off and off you go. It really is a case of, and it's the adrenaline rush. I don't think I've ever felt anything like it. You might have guessed looking at me. I'm a woman of a certain age. I'm 50 years old. I joined as an on-call firefighter at 50 years old. And it's the best thing I've ever done. I wish I'd have done it at 20. But it is an absolute adrenaline rush. You go up the station, you're throwing your kit on, you get in that truck, and it's unbelievable. It really, really is. And it's just, I can't big it up enough that how amazing it makes you feel. But then obviously you get to the nitty-gritty of it when you get to your job and you just get your head down and you do it. And then all your training suddenly kind of goes, oh, there it is. That's what I need to do. So it really is amazing. It's a massive, massive commitment. I don't think we realised. I've got young children, obviously. They're older. But it is a massive, massive commitment. Please don't elude yourself that it's, and I'm going to say just 84 hours a week. It is just 84 hours a week, which is a lot. The training, not only physical, but written, you've got a lot of learning to do, a lot of learning to do. You'll have to get your head in your books, you'll have to get to the gym, it's all one massive big training. But once you're doing it, it just becomes second nature. It becomes a routine, everything's a routine. So don't let that put you off either. Just make sure you're mentally ready to do everything. But certainly don't let it put you off.
Cool. On the availability, like Wendy said, and I was sort of saying that, again, just be honest with what you can give. If you've got young kids and you take them swimming every week, or you play football every Saturday morning, or whatever, don't like say you think you've got to give us what we're asking for. Just tell us honestly what you can give us, and we'll work with you as much as we can. Because like I say, what we want at the end of the day is an appliance on the run. So don't, like Wendy said, don't let the 8 to 4 hours put you off. Some people can do that many, some people give less. So like I said, just please don't let that put you off, and still put your application in. And again,
Absolutely.
we discussed with the watch manager.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, I went up to the station. I think they still do that. You go up to your station and you have a chat with your watch manager or and another team member. And I said initially I probably could only give 50, 60 hours a week. That's all I thought I could give. Just so happens I now realise that I can give more. You see all them colours on the schedule there, they all mean something. And there's a little one on there that you can't really differentiate, but there's one called social leave. And basically, so is what Steve's saying is don't let these 84 hours put you off. Social leave is one of those things. You've got a dentist appointment, put yourself on social leave. You know, you've got you want to go for a run. I love outdoor running. We've got a gym at the station. It doesn't compare to outdoor running. So a couple of mornings in the week, I still want to get up at 6 o'clock and go out for a run. So I put myself on social leave, and that means kind of thing that if you are available, your page goes off, you could still go to the, you could still go to the job. If you're unavailable, you're unavailable. That's just that, and you can do that as well. But there's so many routes you can go down. You can be unavailable, it can be social leave. You don't have to commit. You don't have to stop doing everything you do. You can still do things as well.
Yeah, we do let you still have a bit of life.
Yeah, just a bit.
You don't commit fully to us. But yeah, it's true that if there's things you need to do, then that's what you do in your life is more important than the job, if you like. So there's things you've got to do, then that comes first. You make yourself unavailable, and if one week you can't give as much, but the week after you can give a bit more, then again it swings and roundabouts at the end of the day. So pay then. So the annual retaining fee whilst a trainee is £1,814 a year divided by 12 months for pay purposes, and you'll be on £11.5p an hour while ever you're just a trainee. Once you've completed all your basic training, you'll become what's known as a development firefighter, and then your retaining fee goes up to £1,890 and you go up to £11.51 an hour. And then once you start going on call, you get what we call a disturbance fee of £4.24. So combined together, when you get turned out to an incident, you'll get £15.75. Is that, if my maths are right?
Yeah.
And then after, it normally takes 18 months to 2 years from starting your basic training to being classed as competent. So once you're competent, you'll get a retaining fee of £2,418 an hour annum and £14.72 an hour plus your disturbance fees when you turned out. Anything else you do for pay as a competent firefighter is at that rate, or development trainee. So like I say, it's not going to get you rich, but it might get you a nice holiday or something like that. So examples of things you can get paid for then. So you have to trend drill every week to maintain the skills you've learned. So it's normally 2-3 hours a week and an evening to go to drill. There's normally a set drill night, and then there'll be an alternative for if you can't make that. All of your basic training you'll be paid for. So every single hour you do with us in your basic training, you're paid for. Any training you have to do after that, you'll be paid for. Routines, so cleaning on the station, checking the kit. All the kit needs to be checked at a regular basis. make sure it works, nothing's broken, nothing's missing, etc. So that there's things to do on that every day. You've got your development, so from trainee to competent, like Wendy said, you'll have your head in the books permanently. Every day is a school day, even when you're an old man like me who's been doing it forever.
Like me.
There's always new things to learn, so you're forever learning. We have a fitness test every year. Again, you'll be paid for that. And then you've got your prevention and your protection activities, so like your school visits, safe and wells, community events, going into businesses and making sure that they're complying to fire safety legislation, and things like that. So that we say it's not a full-time job, but if you live close by to station and you have only got a part-time job or something, say there is an opportunity to earn a decent amount of money as well. So we don't recommend it as a full-time job, but there is a chance to earn a decent amount of money by doing all the additional bits. And Ashfield, where Wendy's based, is quite a busy station as well for the on-call. So if you pick up a fair few calls as well, then it all adds up. So is there anything you want to say about extra bits you can get there? Wendy?
Yeah, I was just thinking then. So obviously your drill night, or drill, it doesn't have to be a night. We at Ashfield we have a Wednesday night, which is for us on call, but then the whole time have a Friday morning. So you know, if you can do either. But the Steve touched on the safe and well. Then the safe and well is when you go into the community and you go to houses. You go to houses that might need you. You go and check that they've got. We give smoke alarms. We fit smoke alarms. We check that everybody's well. If they can have any kind of help with any smoking. If they want to give up smoking, we can help them with that. Alcohol, drug abuse, anything like that, we put them in touch with the right people. If there's any needs, we put them in touch with the right people. So it really is community, as in we really look after the community. And you have a certain quota to do in your stations if you're safe and well. Lots of people said when I first started, safe and well, I love them. I absolutely love a safe and well. And it's just because you get to go and see so many different people. And I really feel like you're making a difference for them. They want you there. They wouldn't accept you in the house if they didn't. And sometimes you get to them and they just want to chat. They just want a cup of tea, and they just want to chat. And it's just lovely because you really do feel like you're doing something really nice for them. And you're not seeing them at the worst time, which as a firefighter, that's when you normally see people. So no, it's really nice. That I think is one of the good things.
No, I like going and doing safe and wells as well.
I do.
Especially if you get a piece of cake as well with your cup of tea. No, I mean, there are other bits that we do that, again, you can get money for, but there's loads of things we get involved with. Food banks. Through the pandemic, we did loads of things. As a service, we delivered vaccines, we did the testing, we drove ambulances. We got involved in all sorts of things. So there is loads of things we can get involved with and do, which adds to the bonus of the job, really. Like Wendy said, we're just there to help people the best we can. So types of incidents you might get turned out to, so building fires, whether that's domestic or commercial, high-rise, vehicles, grass, rubbish. If you saw last summer, the whole country was on fire at one point, I think, through wildfires and everything else. Unfortunately, you get a lot of road traffic collisions, rescues from height, persons trapped. That's not always in road collisions. That can be in machinery and other things. Hazardous materials, gas leaks and explosions, bariatric rescues. So if you're not familiar with the term bariatric, it's for somebody who's obesely overweight, if you like. So you're talking people 25, 30 stone plus. Confined spaces, assisting the ambulance and police. We get quite a lot of assist ambulance as well. So if they need us to gain entry for them and assist, and we do that. Same with the police to help them get into things. Kids locked in cars is one thing we tend to get quite a bit as well. Animal rescues, not just cats up a tree. Normally be horses or cows in a ditch, or a dog or something else that's gone somewhere it's not supposed to. Flooding, unfortunately, getting more and more of that. And then humanitarian services. So basically, if there's something that they don't know what to do or who to send, then we'll go to it. And again, just go back to, I mean, I suppose like Wendy was sort of saying, you could be sat chilling watching Netflix with a cup of tea after a day at work or what have you, and the next thing you're going to a house fire person's reported, or a road traffic collision with somebody trapped, or like I say, a cow in a ditch. So it is very varying and massively rewarding. So I don't know if you want to add
It's
anything.
massively varying depending on where you're based as well. Obviously, we're Ashfield, so we get kind of got a bit of everything. We've got forests, we've got fast roads, we've got the M1, we've got tall buildings, lots of houses, commercial buildings. So we've kind of got a bit of everything. Obviously, somewhere like London Road in Nottingham, it's obviously buildings. They wouldn't necessarily go out to a forest fire. So it depends where you are on what you get. So like I say, Ashfield, we can get anything. Yeah, RTCs, been on a couple of those, thankfully, everybody well. House fires, I've not been to the incidents recently where we've lost people, which is, again, I say good. You want to join the fire service, and let's not beat around the bush. You want to join the fire service, you want exciting jobs. We all want exciting jobs, but we also want everybody to live. That's the main thing. So it is still exciting, even when you think, oh, it's just a that, it's just a this. It is still really exciting. A particular one I went to was a poor elderly gentleman that had been sat in a hot bath for 4 hours, and he collapsed in the bath. The steam actually set off the smoke alarm, which then obviously took a long time for steam to seep out of the bathroom to set off the smoke alarm. So we've been in there a while, and it wasn't nice. It was a hot bath, so you can imagine it wasn't nice. But when he came round, when we got him round, I was medic. When we got him round, it was just the best feeling. And before you know it, we're joking with him. Bless him. He was a 82-year-old gentleman and quite frail. We were joking with him and everything before you knew it, because we originally thought his name was Bob, I think was kept calling him, and he was called John. So in the end, we just kept calling him Bob, and it was just lovely that we managed to joke around with him by the time the ambulance came. So that, you are going to see some nasty sights, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not going to go into everything that you might see because you already know yourself, but you're going to see some nasty sights, and it's how you deal with them. The fire service are great if you do have any issues with dealing with them, but it's just how you deal with them and how you feel about it, and you won't know until you see it. It's as simple as that. But you'll see how you get on afterwards. But the fire service are great if you do have any issues.
Yeah, like Wendy said, we're really good at stuff like that now, with demobilising straight at the incident, and you'll get loads of support after if you do have something that's quite upsetting to deal with. So just like we're halfway through the presentation now, so I don't know if anyone's got any questions on what we've discussed so far, or if not, we can crack on to the next bit for you guys, which is the actual trying to get in the job. Have you had anything in yet, Ellie, please? Or
there's nothing in the chat so far, but if people want to put any questions in the chat, rather than, if you don't want to unmute yourself, then feel free, I'll share them.
I'll just give it a minute or so just to see if anyone drops in. If not, we'll crack on. And you get back to the Coronation Street or whatever else is on tonight.
Does anybody watch real telly these days? Is it just not Netflix and Amazon and stuff like that? I don't know if anybody watches real telly.
I have to watch Love Island and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately.
Don't lie, you love it. Obviously.
I bloody don't.
Well, since my 25-year-old daughter moved in with a boyfriend, my husband doesn't have to watch Love Island, so there we go.
Right, we'll crack. Oh, we've got one.
Disney
I live
Plus.
for Disney Plus, yeah. You can't beat a good Marvel movie. If we get to meet in person, I'm covered in Marvel tattoos. So. Right, we'll carry on then to the next bit then. So, if it works. So what's the entry requirements then? So you've got to be 18 by the day your training starts. So you can apply at 17, but on the first day of training, you must have turned 18. You've got to be eligible to work within the UK. We've sort of covered the live or work within 5 minutes of the station. If it's 7, 8, 9 minutes, I'd rather you apply still and we get the fire engine out the door a little bit later. You must have no unspent criminal convictions. So if you have had criminal convictions in the past and they are spent, depending on what they are, then you will still be able to apply. Your availability must meet the requirements of the station. So like we've said, we have at the minute we have an ideal figure of 8 to 4. We are looking to bring that down quite substantially, but like we've already said, if you can give 40, 50 hours Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, when we struggle the most, then you're as valuable as the person who can give us a little bit more. So no phobia of heights or confined spaces. You might not know you've got one of them till we test you, but that's what the test's for. Meet the required fitness and medical standards, and you must be able to attend the dates of the training, and some of those dates are non-negotiable. Some there is some flexibility around, and others you've got to do it because we can't catch you up on certain elements of the course. So medical requirements, the assessment, it's just a general health questionnaire about your history and things like that. You'll have your pulse, your blood pressure, height, weight, waist, all those sort of things. Do a urine sample, eyesight tests, lung capacity test, hearing test, drug and alcohol screening, and then you'll do a fitness test on the treadmill. So the gas analyzer gives us the truest reading of what your max VO2 is. So we can push you a bit harder to see what your maximum is. And then the doctor will give you a bit of a once over and make sure everything's all right. So the recruitment process itself then. So I'll just quickly go through that. And again, Wendy's been through this quite recently, so she can give you first-hand experience.
Just those pictures of the bleed test make me cry.
Yeah. So if you've never done the bleed test before, yeah, it isn't the nicest test in the world. So we've got an online application form we ask you to fill in. And once you've done that, the application form will be sent to the watch manager of that station. They'll check availability and location. If they're happy with that, get you in for a bit of a chat. Make sure no one's selling you a false story. They'll tell, like Wendy's told you, that it is a big commitment, and there's all different parts to the role. So we want to make sure you 100% know what you're committing to before you carry on. So you've got the job-related tests. So we've got the bleep test, which we asked for 8.7 is our pass rate. You've got ladder climb, a ladder lift. Don't worry, it's not what it sounds. You don't have to run around with a ladder over your head or anything like that. It's not just yet. Not yet, no. It's just a simulation of putting a ladder back onto the appliance. We'll test you in enclosed spaces. We'll get you to put a piece of kit together, and then there's an equipment carry. So all of these are on the website, and I'll show you where it all is later on. The written tests, so we have a maths and English reasoning, so it's a 30 question multi-guess along the lines of fire engine's got 1800 litres in it, and a hose, the branch, sorry, uses 400 litres a minute. How long is the tank going to last? Sort of those questions. And then you'll have to do a dictation test, which is to simulate being asked to relay a radio message or something like that. And we do a memory recall as well. There'll be a formal interview process, and then, like we said, you've got your medicals, and then we do a background check on you and make sure you've told us the truth around criminal convictions and things, and then we'll just check your references as well. We'll do kit fitting, so get all your fire fitting, and then the face fit test is We all have a personal issue respirator, so you'll go for a specific face fitting to make sure you get a respirator that fits your face. So I'll hand you back to Wendy then, and she can tell you the joys of the recruitment process.
Joys of the bleep test. Okay, so I applied in October 20, gosh, where are we now? 23, 2021, October 21, and I failed my first bleep test. I'd done a bit of practicing. No, that one I hadn't touched a bleep test, so please practice bleep test. I've not touched bleep test. I'm just a runner. I said before, I'm a runner. Well, I didn't realise I can run 10k, no problem. I can run 10k in a really short time as well. But a bleep test is completely different. So if you've never done one, do it. You can get them for your Apple Watch. I've got it on your Apple Watch. If you've got an Apple Watch, you can get it for Android phone. Doesn't have to be a watch. Get it, because it really is interesting. You'll think, you know what? Because I think it says if you look at a bleep test, if you can run 1.2 miles under 12 minutes. Then that's what an 8.7 is, but it's not. It's the fact of running in line, making sure you get to the line before the beep or at the beep, and you can't go too fast, you can't do it too slow. So it really is in your interest to have a go at it and see. I went just to the local park. I knew my measurement. I measured out my the measurement that you need to do. Is it 2 meters? That one? What's that one? What's ours?
20 meters.
20 meters, 2 meters, 20 meters, that's it. So I measured out and I just did it to the best of my ability for the second time, because there's nothing worse. When I did it the first time, I think there was Steve was there. When I did it the first time, I think it might have been 8 of us. I don't think many got through, but there's nothing worse than when you just go, right, okay, then thanks for that, bye. And that's it, you go and you're done. You have to start all over again. So I did. I started all over again, and this time we got through everything else, and then obviously started on the ladder, as they say. Excuse the pun. So if I could tell you anything, it's definitely to have a go at the bleep test before. Other than that, it's really just strength and fitness. I mean, you know, like I say, I can do it. Come on, guys, you all. I mean, I can only see 2 of you, but you're certainly younger than 50, so I can do it. You guys can do it. You just have to be really committed. I am a very committed person. Once I've got my mindset on something, I do it. It's as simple as that. That could also be age, I don't know, but you just get on with it. You've got to have a certain level of fitness, I'm sure, before you do it. And once you start on a routine, you'll be fine. So the fitness part of it, the mental, arithmetic, English, maths, it's all, as Steve said, that part of it, it's just normal things that we've all learned at school. So it's nothing you don't know. Dictation and the memory part of it, again, there's loads on the website, which Steve will show you soon. There's loads on YouTube. There's absolutely loads that you can find to test yourselves. And again, I went on YouTube to just have a look at some, and they don't have to necessarily be Nottinghamshire ones. I just found anything of dictation tests and memory recall tests, and there's loads to choose from. So there's plenty out there.
Cool, thank you. Just picking up on some of the bits that, like Wendy said, and on the bleep test there in the middle, you'll see Lauren running, and she, on the videos for all the JRTs, you don't have to be a really big burly male or really muscular or anything to do it. You need a reasonable level of strength, upper body strength, and a reasonable level of fitness, like Wendy said. And we're not looking for athletes or anything like that. If you've got a decent level of fitness, decent upper body strength, then you'll be more than capable of passing the tests. And if you can make it to one of the have a go days, I'll prove it to you.
Oh gosh, so, yeah, have a go days. They're brilliant.
So the training then. So there's 2 ways we offer the training now. You can do it as a back-to-back course, so go from day 1 to the last day all in one go, or we offer a safe to ride course, which I'll explain in a minute, and then again I'll let Wendy talk you through the training. So it's roughly about 54 days of training in total. It is pass fail. Every single thing we teach you on, you will be assessed theoretically as well as practically, and it is hard work. So we've already said first aid, as we call it, casualty care, threat free is the official qualification. Hose and hydrants, knots and lines, ladders of all varying sizes. Time critical rescue is a posh way of saying carrying someone down a ladder. Methods of entry is we've gone beyond the big red key, as you call it. If you watch Police Interceptors, all them programs, and you see them bashing the door down with a big red key, we've got loads of cool new ways of gaining entry into properties and things like that as well. So you'll be taught that. Pumping, breathing apparatus, best part of the job, bar RTC, as horrible as that may sound. Safe working at height, road traffic collisions, water rescue, animal rescue, and hazmat. So if you did it back to back, you would literally start with the basic skills, as we call them, and then move on to the other areas. And then we offer Safe to Ride, which can, the back to backs basically broke down into 4 modules. So if you do it as Safe to Ride, you get a 12-month period to do those 4 modules. I'm hoping the dates are all on the website, but if not, I'll make sure they're on tomorrow. So module 1 has got to be completed first. You have to do module 1 first. Then the other 3 can be done in any order within that 12 months of starting module 1. It enables personnel to ride the appliance quicker, but you will have limited skills. So you won't have all the skills you would do if you did it back to back. You'll remain on trainee pay until all 4 modules have been completed, and you'll be supported by the learning and development team, as well as my team and your sections as well. So your watch manager and the rest of your teammates, and you'll have a blue dot on your helmet so everybody knows that you've not got, it's not like a Mickey take thing. It's just so at a quick glance, as an officer in charge, I can say, right, that person might not have all the skills. I'll just check with them first to make sure they've had the training and that. And if they have, just get them to do that. And if they haven't, then I'll utilise them somewhere else, and somebody who has got that skill I can use. So I'll pass you on to Wendy then, and she can tell you the joys of training.
So I've done it modular. I think the reason, the best thing about being able to do it modular is you don't have to take off all that time from work at one time. Again, I think I mentioned we've got our own business, so we're only a small business of myself and my husband and 3 staff. So it's that thing of you can't take all that time off at the same time, and a lot of people can't. So the first module, module 1 is, you know, your ladders and things like that. That all has to be done. I think that's about 3 weeks.
About 3.5 weeks, I think.
3.5 weeks, yeah, because you need to do the first aid as well. And then once that's done, then obviously, as Steve said, you can do them in any order. And in fact, a week on Monday, I do my final one, which is BA. Everybody tells me it's the best, but currently it's RTC. So a week on Monday, I'm doing my BA, which is a 2-week course. And then I will have done all my 4 modules. So yeah, it's just making sure, fitting it around your job, your calendar. Mine was, like I say, my job, so I work things around what I could do when. There's been 2 BA training courses, I think, since I started, and I just happened to fit it in on this one. The blue circles are not an issue. They're really not. They're not anything like, you know, to point you out, you know, to keep, oh, look at that, she's got a blue circle. It's nothing like that. You turn up to a job, you tip up, you've got a watch manager that you've no idea, because you've already got 2 appliances there. You've got no idea. He doesn't know who you are, what you can do. He sees the blue circles, he turns around and says, you know, can you do pumping? Can you do, have you done RTC? Are you BA trained? So whatever you have and haven't done, I could have done BA first, so I could have said, yeah, I'm BA trained. That could have gone in. So they just ask you a question, like Steve said, if you haven't done a particular thing that he thought he was going to put you to, then he'll put you to something else. So you certainly will never be without anything to do, just because you've got blue circles on. After the blue circles, I'm assuming Steve might change that, go to that in a minute on the slides, but you get your diamonds. Once you go into your diamonds, and that's when you've done all your modules, either in one go or over a 12-month period. Again, I think what I've learned as well is doing it modular. For me, it's good because you kind of you go to your drills on station, and I find it I've preferred it because it's helped me learning more, because you can do it on station, do it on your drill night, so that's good. It's another way of doing it. It's another benefit to doing it modular. So it's just something to think about if you can't do it in one go, or you prefer to maybe get a bit of learning on the job, as they say, then you could do it modular and do it that way. But obviously you're not you can't do everything. That's the only thing when you're at a job.
And you're a little bit worse off financially, but that's it. And as you've seen from the slides, it's not going to bankrupt you, that little difference.
No, it's not at all. And the best thing about it as well, actually, I was going to say actually, is that I started my basic training in April 2022, and it's been quite nice that every part of each one of my modules, I've met new people training, so it's been really nice. So I met the June team last year because I did something then. I'm now meeting the January team when I go and do my March training. So all these people now I've met and already got a chance to work with all these new people. Some are coming to my station, some aren't. But yeah, it's quite good that you meet lots of different people.
Thank you very much. And it's hard work as well, isn't it, Wendy?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And there really is a lot to learn. I think
I forgot about that bit. It is very hard.
I think people are quite surprised how much we have to know about all sorts of things. Like I say, it'll keep you busy, that's for sure. Keep you out of mischief for a few weeks.
I think what I didn't realise was how much I'm going to say classroom work. I'm going to call it classroom work, so it's a bit easier to understand. But how much classroom work there is. It really is like going back and doing a degree again. It really is. So there is lots of written work to do. Even when you're once you're a firefighter in development, you still got, like Sue said before, another 12 months afterwards before you become a competent firefighter, and there's always stuff to do. You have to do kit talks, you have to do e-learning. There's a lot of learning.
Thank you, Wendy. So what happens when you've passed your training then? So when you start on your station, you'll receive your pager, so your little Breloo friend that you carry with you everywhere. You'll start plotting availability, so when you can provide cover. As Wendy's just said, you'll start your phase 2 development, or if you've done it modularly like Wendy has, you'll just build on the skills you've already learned. You'll get roughly 24 months to complete your probation period, as we call it, and then you get assessed at 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. There is a 12-month assessment where you go back to training school for a week, and basically just make sure you've not picked up any bad habits, you still know what you're doing, and you'll pick up a couple of extra qualifications as well. And then 18 months is the earliest you can finish your probation period, unless you've done it safe to ride. Then we say it is 2 years because you've not had as long to develop some parts as if you've done it back to back. And there's the 12-month assessment at SDC. So that's what will happen if you are successful. And obviously what's missing off there is you'll be able to turn out to fire calls and do all the community bits and everything else. So again, I'll just let Wendy give a bit of an explanation about life on station and when she first started there and things.
I was just going back to thinking back to my first call, and some people don't get orange wobbly bits, as they call it, which is obviously the main reason we start doing this. But I just remember how nervous and the adrenaline and the nerves and everything else that was going through me when you've got that bleeper going off, and it doesn't just go off once. You can be getting in the car and it's off again, and this, that, and the other. By the time you get to station, you've jumped on that truck. And I think many people say to me, what does it feel like being in a truck? And I'm just going to say, awesome. It just feels amazing. You sat up there, you're in that truck. And when you're in a position where I am at the minute, I sit on either of the 2 middle seats at the back. You look out of that window, you watch how everybody and how you react as a driver when you see blue flashing lights and a bull-horn coming up you. And you're the one now in that appliance that makes all them noises. You see how everybody pulls over and lets you through, and the feeling is just amazing. So one thing I will honestly say to you is, you will never get that feeling doing any other job. I've done a few jobs over the years, and you'll never get that feeling doing any other job. On the station, it's brilliant. Everybody's friendly. You get, when you come to your drill nights, it's brew and biscuits, you know, initially, and chats, and then obviously go and do the actual stuff that you're there for, and go and do your drills. But it's just dead friendly. You rock up at your station when your pager goes off, and if you don't get on the appliance, you know, you're unfortunate. You don't get any appliance if it's people's reported and you've not got there quite in time. Then obviously the appliance needs to go. But there's other things you can do then. You sort of before you go home, and that's it really. It's just everybody's nice, everybody's friendly. Ours is whole time as well, where you have day crew. You go and use the gym. Just, hi guys, you know, I'm nipping in the gym. It's just, yeah, it's really good. And to have a gym as well, you'd have to pay gym membership. I mean, come on, that's another benefit. No gym membership, just go to your gym. It's great. So yeah, being at the station is just, everybody's dead friendly. I've never, all these things you do here in the news at the minute. Again, I am that female. I am that woman of 50. I've never in nearly 12 months of doing it, I've never seen, heard, or anything of any of these things. Everybody's just dead friendly. You might get the poor guys that are that old timers that have been in for 30 years that call you men, you know, right? So if he does this, or if this man does that, and you know, but that's it. You just, and then he goes, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in person. That's it. Honestly, it's nothing. There's all those things. I've not heard any of them things. It's just a really nice place to be.
Thank you very much. I think that's the end of the presentation. Yeah. So has anybody got any questions? If not, I'll just quickly go through the website with you, if I can work out how to share a different screen, and then I'll give you a chance to ask any more questions. If not, I'd say everyone can crack on and get the tea or watch Disney Plus and everything else that they like to watch.
Your application's filled in. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, get on the website and start filling them in. Right, and just move things around my screen. Sorry if I start looking. Right. So, on. I'm not very technologically minded, as you'll soon gather. Just waiting for the Wheel of Doom to finish on the website. There we go. Right. Share. One. Sorry, just bear with us a sec. I'll get some IT lessons after this. Still showing the chat, isn't it?
I'll fill in the time to try and make it a bit easier for you. My name's Ed. Nice to meet you.
Nice
Wendy,
to meet you,
I
Ed.
think you're a bit of an inspiration at 50.
Yeah, definitely.
Or at 49 and then 50 now. So thank you for your service.
Thank you.
What made you do it at 49?
Some people call me mad.
This might help Stephen.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. I've lived in this house where we live within 5 minutes of the fire station for 20 years. It just so happens that 5 years ago, when we started our own business, it gave me the chance to be a bit more flexible, if you like, and get a bit more that I could actually do it. When I left school all them years ago, I either wanted to be an RAF dog handler or a firefighter, and those were the two jobs I wanted to do. Life changed because I had a baby, so that changed. So that was it. So at 18, I was a young mum, and life just changed. But I never stopped wanting it, and I just so happened to know my watch manager, and was talking to him one time on the street, and I just said, oh, I'd love to do your job. And it was a case of, well, you can. No, I'm 40. I think I was 48 at the time. And he said, don't be silly, you can, go for it. And it just was that. It was just a case of, yeah, why not? So the next time it came up, I did it. So I got my acceptance letter on the 14th of March, and I was 50 on the 11th of March. It was 3 days after I turned 50.
Wow, what a present that is.
I know, it was amazing.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing.
No, thank you.
Thanks,
Steve,
for,
I've got a. Oh, sorry to interrupt.
No.
I've got a couple of questions in the chat.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
one from Tyler just saying, I sent my application off a few days ago. What's the next steps now, please?
So with the application, we've left the window open a little bit longer this time, just to see if it helps out in terms of getting interest in that. So it might seem like nothing happens for a couple of weeks, so please don't worry about that. So what will happen now is the window closes on the 5th of March. Once the window's closed, HR collate everybody who's applied, and then they break them down into each station, and then those applicants go to that specific station, and then you should hopefully be invited in by the watch manager to come in and have a chat and, like I say, go through availability and where you live, what commitments you are got, like say hobbies and everything. Just a bit of a chat to get to know you, explain the role, go through and make sure you're happy with the dates of each part of the process, and see if you're okay for time off for the training and that sort of thing. And then once, again, we've given about 4 weeks for that, but if we can get it done quicker, then we'll start getting people in to do work with them before that. And then I think the actual first testing doesn't start until April. So yeah, it's a little bit of, this is the longest part of the process, if you like, unfortunately, but we want to try and get as many applicants as we can, and then give everyone a chance to go and have a proper sit down conversation with the watch manager, meet the sections, and have a bit of a chat. So yeah, that's the next phase. Say there was a couple of others, are they?
There's a couple of other comments. Hannah says she got her application in the same day it opened up. Nick, who's part of our on-call support team, said I sent everybody an email with your watch manager's email address in. So contact your watch manager and have a visit. And I was actually going to ask, how important would you say it is, Steve, for people to go down to stations beforehand, or even go to have a go days? Would you say that's something people should be doing at this stage?
Yeah, I mean, if you can go down and have a chat with the station beforehand, if you're not going to meet one of them criteria, it can save you the time of the application form. But definitely come along to the have a go days, not just because we've planned them, but we're going to give you an opportunity to practice the bleep test. We'll get you doing a few of the things you'll do on your basic training course, so it gives you an idea of where you are fitness wise in terms of the bleep test, and strength wise in terms of being able to carry pieces of kit around, or see what you are like with claustrophobia and things like that. So it's a chance to try before you buy, if you like.
Yeah, the have a go days are definite. I definitely stress to do them. Yeah.
There's no other questions at the moment. Thanks, Steve.
Is the website showing now? Have I managed to work it?
You are?
Cool. So if you've not already, before I start, thank you very much to those of you who's applied already. So there's 2 ways of getting to it. You can either click just here where it says the recruitment's now open on the web page, or if you go in careers and then click on on-call firefighters. So you'll then be taken to this page. This is Lauren, who's an on-call firefighter. She helps us out quite a lot as well. So again, if you get through the next stages, you'll probably meet Lauren, and I'm pretty sure I can con Wendy into helping us out as well. So on here are dates we've got for have a go sessions. So we did have a go event yesterday at Carlton. We've got one this Sunday coming at Mansfield, and then one next Wednesday, and one at the end of the month. You don't have to sign up to the other webinars, because it will just be me or someone else telling you the same thing again. So I'm sure you don't want to see my ugly mug again. And then you can click on these bits. Oh, if you click on here, this is where you'll find the application form. So click on this, it'll bring it up. And then this bit here where it says more details, if you click on that, it opens out where the availability form is and a few more bits of information that will help you fill out the application form. And then if we go back to this bit. So role of a on-call firefighter, just a little bit about the role and where the stations are. Entry requirements, which we've been through. And then it'll have, on here, we'll have the training schedules for, so the next courses are August and September. So I'll get those put on tomorrow. The recruitment process itself. So a little bit more about what each stage is. And then there's some videos on here as well. So the gentleman on the video, once that is my boss, Simon. So again, you'll get to meet him. And then there's just little snippets of what each test entails there to give you a bit of an idea. So when I said about ladder test and not having to lift it over your head, that's the ladder lift test. So like I say, it's just a simulation. And then just the different bits of test in there. A little bit about the medical, and there's some documents down here that will give you a bit more information as well. Some practice. I will send these out as well. Like I say, if you apply and get through the SIFT, I'll send you these on email as well. So there's a practice dictation and memory recall test. I need to wind the hamster up to do the internet. It's not running fast enough. We've got some practice questions. So just an example of the sort of things you're going to get. Like I said, hopefully it's all stuff you've done before, probably not for a while. Please do look at this page, the medical and fitness requirements, especially if you wear glasses. Hearing aids aren't a barrier, and neither is PTSD if any of you have ever been in the armed forces or suffered it through another part of life. On here, we've got a fitness guide. So it's basically a 12-week program to follow you, and it is a very good fitness guide. And there's videos on YouTube as well. And again, I can share all that with you if you need be. And on here is a bit more information about the medical standards themselves. So if you click on that, it will tell you everything you need to know about the medical side. We've got case studies of people who's already in, telling a little bit about why they wanted to join and what they like about the role. If you do work within 5 minutes of a station, there's some information here for your employer if they were willing to release you as well. And then finally, we've got the frequently asked questions. So anything that I've not told you about tonight, or any questions you might come off tonight and think, oh, I forgot to ask that, or I wish I'd have asked that, then there's a chance it might be on here. But if not, like say, if you email the address, then we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So
just one part about if you work within 5 minutes of the station as well. I'm I suppose lucky that I'm my own boss. My husband thinks he is, but he's not. I'm my own boss. But you know, one of our guys, he works at Available Car down the road, and he can't just at the drop of a hat go 5 days a week. But what he did negotiate with his employer is just a couple of afternoons. So it just helped him with getting the 8 to 4 hours in for one. But two, it obviously helps at our station that we've got another person. It might only be from 1 o'clock on a Wednesday and a Thursday. But so you can try and negotiate, and your watch manager will assist you on that as well if you need any help with that. I think Carl helped a couple of hours out when they needed reasons and things to be able to go on the training, on the like 3.5 weeks training, or getting the afternoon off work. So yeah, and the thing is with on call as well is just because you're on call, if you can manage to negotiate it with your employer, well, I'll just do from 12 o'clock from after my lunch on 2 days a week, you might not get any calls on that week. So it's not like you're just going to be out every minute of every afternoon that you're on call. you just so happen to might not get any, but it just gives you that extra hours to put into the on-call, to be fair, and to help out.
So just in answer to Alviro's question, moving around the on-call is a bit harder. The only way you could really do it is if you was to move to another on-call area. So for example, you lived in Tuxford and then circumstances changed and you moved to Ashfield, then yeah, we could move you across the stations. What we do give the opportunity for, once you are competent in role, there are opportunities to migrate into the whole time. So it is a way of getting into the whole time as well. But yeah, in terms of moving around the on-call, that's a little bit more difficult because you have got to be within the set time distance of that station. There's one for you there, Wendy. How long
Gemma's got one, yeah. Gemma's got one there, hasn't she? It was just practice. So, you know, probably, like I say, depending on your level of fitness, it all depends on your level of fitness before you actually start. My problem was I was a long distance runner. That was my problem. So I needed to quicken up and learn to take longer strides, which I've suddenly realised 12 months later that it's far less effort to take long strides, long distance running than to take short strides. So yeah, it depends on your level of fitness beforehand, but practice. That's all I could really say.
I mean, I was there for all the times when they did it. I mean, Ed said about being an inspiration. She 100% is that, and she's a very, very determined lady. Let me tell you this as well. So she didn't let her beat it. And the bleep test is about fitness, but it's about technique more than fitness as well. There's definitely a technique to doing it, and like I say, if you come down to the have a goes, or even before you do it, we'll show you the best way of doing it. But it is really just timing it perfectly. So
Yeah.
you're touching the line as the beep gets ready to go. So practice does make perfect. But yeah,
the thing with the bleep test as well is practicing the bleep test, because you need to hear that bleep, because you kind of need it to get into your head, so that you're ready for it, sort of thing. And I was counting paces, so I could let them try. So I knew when the bleep was coming in my head. I was counting. I knew exactly how many steps I'd done before I got to the side, so I knew when it was coming. So there's just all sorts of things you could do, so you're mentally ready for it, I think, as well.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. But Hannah, no, there's no limitations on your height. Once upon a time, we used to have maximum and minimum height restrictions, but we haven't got height restrictions anymore.
I've got two, Hannah.
And the fire engines now, you can drop the suspension and everything. So if you are a little bit shorter, it's easier to reach all the stuff. So
yeah, just be careful when you're doing your training at SDC, and watch manager, he's not there anymore, he's just retired, Mr. Revel, watch manager Revel decides to put the two smallest women on the 13.5 metre ladder at position 1 and 2, and we're both literally on our tiptoes trying to reach, and then realise that you can put the suspension down.
So yeah, no, there's no restrictions now. Same with age, bar the 18. That's the only restriction we put on age now as well. So if you feel young enough and fit enough, give it a go. That's what I say. But if you ain't got any more questions, then thank you very much for giving up your evenings to listen to us today, and hopefully we haven't put you off. It is something you're still willing to give a try, and it'd be great to see you all in person as well. If you are interested, please drop in on a have a go session as well if you can make it. And like I say, we'll give you a chance to practice bleep test, but also we'll show you some of the skills that you'll be learning on your course as well. Thank you to Ellie for helping us out, set all this up, and being in the background watching the chat for us. And of course, thank you very much to Wendy as well for your help and support on this. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great evening. Take care, and I hope to see you all soon.
Thanks, guys.